On this Sunday night, deal or no deal? The U.S. and Iran signal they're close to an agreement to end the war and reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
This time actually seems more serious than past times.
Why doubts for peace persist as both sides offer mixed messages. The aftermath of a shooting near the White House.
It's scary. I mean, we live in scary times.
What's known so far about the gunman and the latest act of violence near the U.S. president. Plus, the tragic details coming out of Nova Scotia after a missing newborn baby was found dead. And swinging for success.
It's a good problem because we have to find more space to play.
What's fueling the surging popularity of tennis among Canadians?
Global National. Reporting tonight, Eric Sorensen.
Good evening. Reports of a possible deal aimed at ending the war between Iran and the U.S. have again come into question. After suggesting an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz was near, U.S. President Donald Trump now says restoring access depends on final terms being completed. Heidi Petracek has more on what is known about the potential terms under discussion and how Iran is responding.
Details of the deal the American president described as largely negotiated Saturday remained vague Sunday.
We still have some work to do. We'll see.
It wasn't long after Marco Rubio said that in India that Donald Trump contradicted his own earlier posts, writing an agreement isn't even fully negotiated yet. Although senior American officials told media outlets the two sides had agreed in principle both to reopening the Strait of Hormuz and Iran's nuclear disarmament.
Donald Trump has spoken about the fact that they're very close multiple times, but this time actually seems more serious than past times because the Iranians themselves are also giving signals that a peace plan is at hand.
Sunday, Iran's president did say the country is, quote, ready to reassure the world that we are not seeking nuclear weapons, although that's been said before. To be believed, says Iranian commentator Kaveh Shahrouz, any agreement must guarantee independent verification.
Whether Iran at this juncture would actually agree to those kinds of oversight and monitoring remains to be seen.
The Israeli prime minister says any final agreement must remove Tehran's nuclear threat. But it's unclear if a deal would include Lebanon, where fighting between Iran-backed Hezbollah and Israel rages on. As Washington and Tehran's dueling blockades of the strait continue to fuel a global energy crisis, Iran's Revolutionary Guards said dozens of vessels passed through over the weekend with Tehran's permission. And this military advisor to Iran's supreme leader suggests Iran has the legal right to manage the strait as it sees fit, an unpalatable arrangement for the United States.
We would be normalizing an unacceptable status quo and setting a dangerous precedent that could be replicated here in this region and in multiple places around the world.
What is clear is any agreement will take time. Heidi Petracek, Global News, Halifax.
With ongoing security concerns over the war in the Middle East, the Iranian Football Federation says FIFA has approved moving Iran's World Cup training base from the U.S. to Tijuana, Mexico. FIFA has not confirmed the move. Iran's team had been scheduled to train in Tucson, Arizona, but safety and visa issues have created uncertainty. Iran is still scheduled to play its 3 opening round matches in the United States. In Washington, police are investigating last night's shooting just outside the White House that sent journalists and tourists scrambling for cover. An armed gunman was killed after exchanging fire with Secret Service agents. As Candice Cole reports, it marks the latest high-profile shooting in the vicinity of the U.S. president.
Everyone to the front briefing room right now!
Get inside. You okay?
Yes.
Was it gunshots?
I don't know.
A barrage of gunfire just outside the White House sent reporters and camera crews racing to the White House press briefing room Saturday.
President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain.
This footage capturing the terrifying moment when shots were fired as ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wong ducks for cover. According to the Secret Service, the shooting happened just after 6 p.m. when a man pulled a gun from his bag and began firing at officers near a White House security checkpoint, resulting in an exchange of gunfire with Secret Service agents. That shooting taking chunks out of the nearby Irish embassy and a gift shop. The gunman, identified as 21-year-old Nasir Best, was killed by Secret Service. A bystander was also struck. Tourists in the area were left shaken.
It was scary. I didn't understand what happened.
It's scary. I mean, we live in scary times. It seems like there's violence all the time.
According to court documents, Best was arrested last July for trying to enter another security checkpoint at the White House when he disobeyed orders to stop and claimed to be Jesus Christ. Taking to Truth Social, U.S. President Donald Trump, who was in the White House at the time of the shooting, thanked the Secret Service for taking swift and professional action against Best. Saturday's shooting marks the third shooting involving Secret Service agents in a month's time, following an alleged assassination attempt on Trump during the White House Correspondents' Dinner in April and a shooting near the Washington Monument as Vice President J.D. Vance's motorcade passed by just 3 weeks ago. Candice Cole, Global News, Washington.
In Ukraine, at least 4 people were killed and 100 injured after Russia unleashed a huge aerial attack overnight on Kyiv. Russia reportedly launched around 600 drones and 90 missiles on the capital and the surrounding region. Ukraine's military says most were intercepted, but many residential buildings and schools were damaged. Russia's defense ministry claims they were targeting Ukrainian military facilities. They also confirmed using the powerful Orishnik missile, said to be capable of Mach 10 speed. That's about 10,000 kilometers an hour, making it immune to missile defenses. It can also carry a nuclear warhead. There's tragic news out of Halifax, where rescue workers have discovered the remains of a missing newborn baby. Police were notified Friday night about a woman in life-threatening condition who appeared to have just given birth, triggering a search that ended this afternoon. A relative of the woman and his wife have now been charged in the case and will appear in court tomorrow. Kendra Gannon has more details and a warning: some of them are disturbing.
In a release Sunday evening, HRP say they found the remains of the missing newborn in a location further from the original search area on Willett Street. Police say new information led the search to Prospect Road and the surrounding area on Sunday. The infant body was found at around 3:30 in a wooded area on Old Coach Road. The release says the medical examiner will conduct an autopsy to determine the cause of death. Police say the 23-year-old mother of the baby remains in hospital in critical condition due to a potential medical emergency and do not believe her condition is the result of violence. 2 people have been charged in the newborn's death. Sukhpreet Singh, a 23-year-old man who is a relative of the mother of the deceased baby, and his wife, 26-year-old Ramandeep Kaur, will appear in Halifax Provincial Court on Monday to face the following charges: concealing the body of a child, obstruction, and indignity to a dead body. The investigation remains ongoing. Kendra Gannon, Global News, Halifax.
Some Canadian activists who were part of the aid flotilla bound for Gaza and were detained by Israel have now returned to Canada. A total of 12 Canadians were among some 420 activists who tried to break Israel's naval blockade of Gaza. They were intercepted and detained by the Israeli military. The activists accused the Israelis of subjecting them to dehumanizing conditions while they were in custody, including frequent beatings and sexual assault. Military members in New Brunswick will soon have a bolstered pathway to careers in construction. New funding will expand the Helmets to Hard Hats initiative, which helps the military community enter the unionized construction sector. Global's Johnny James looks at how the program works and the impact it's having.
$275,000 provincial dollars are being invested in expanding the operations of Helmets to Hard Hats in New Brunswick. The nonprofit program recognizes the career transition challenges for veterans, reservists, and their military family members, and addresses it by providing skills edge training, employment readiness support, outreach and direct pathways to apprenticeships and certifications in the unionized construction sector. National Director of Training and Development Daryl Cathcart says that once members are finished their service, they can be an immense asset to the civilian workforce.
Their training and dedication and their leadership, communication and adaptability, they bring that to the civilian sector writ large and to the construction industry specifically, and really enhance the employers that they're working for.
During a recent announcement earlier this month, St. John Kennebecase's MP Wayne Long said creating similar opportunities for members was an initiative receiving federal funding as well. He added that even the community within Base Gagetown could use more construction workers.
Over 10,000 people work there daily. There is literally hundreds of millions of dollars of infrastructure there. There's roads, there's bridges, there's affordable housing that needs to be built.
Cathcart says that the initiative has referred thousands nationally to the sector and was already present in New Brunswick. However, this is the first formal partnership with the province. He says the funding will go towards helping these services reach people in less central areas in the province and ensure no upfront costs to those who participate.
Once they're, signed up with a, with a union local, the apprenticeships costs are covered by locals. So folks earn while they learn. There are no costs to any of our program participants.
Johnny James, Global News, Fredericton.
Prime Minister Mark Carney welcomed FIFA's president to Ottawa today ahead of the World Cup.
This is the beautiful game, and we want the beautiful game played everywhere by everyone. The only time when the world stands still is during the FIFA World Cup. The world stands still because nobody's breathing and everyone is focusing on what is going to happen in Vancouver, in Toronto.
The Prime Minister met with Gianni Infantino and got the chance to hoist the World Cup trophy. Carney also got to play soccer with some young people, and Canada's first World Cup match is in Toronto on June the 12th. Crack under pressure. A damaged chemical tank in California may not be as close to catastrophic failure as feared. Firefighters in Southern California risked their safety overnight to get a first-hand look at a massive chemical tank that's in danger of exploding.
What they found was a potential crack in the tank, which could potentially be relieving some of the pressure in there.
Unmanned hoses have been set up to spray the tank, trying to contain a chemical reaction that's happening inside. 50,000 people living within a 2-kilometer radius have been evacuated. Authorities are trying to determine how to stop the reaction and prevent a spill or an explosion. In southwestern Pakistan, more than 20 people were killed and 70 others wounded after a suicide car bomb targeted a passenger train. The blast severely damaged buildings and destroyed dozens of vehicles. A state of emergency has now been declared at local hospitals. A separatist militant group has claimed responsibility. Pakistan's prime minister called the attack a cowardly act of terrorism. In the Philippines, rescue workers are searching for more than 20 people believed to be buried in the rubble of a collapsed building. The 9-story structure was under construction when it gave way early this morning. At least one person was killed. 24 workers have been accounted for and are safe. 5 others have been confirmed trapped, including 2 who are in contact with rescuers. Ahead, tick, tick, boom. Health experts warn of a surge of a potentially dangerous summer pest. The weather is warming up finally across Canada, and many parts of the country are now at the peak of tick season. Health experts warn that ticks are popping up in more places than ever. Katherine Ward explains what's behind the surge and how to protect yourself.
With more than 40 different types in Canada, scientists say ticks can be tricky business.
We are definitely seeing a a very fast range expansion, and we're witnessing it in real time.
In 2026, there has been a jump in the number of ticks reported through the website eTick, a free tracking system supported through the federal government.
Almost 70% more submissions of the black-legged tick in the early months of 2026 than we did for the same time period in 2025.
Entomologists say in the last 10 years, the black-legged tick has been spreading.
We have seen that species really managing to move further north in a lot more habitats than where it used to be present. And we're also finding it in much greater abundance in areas where we know it was there for the last few years.
Reasons are varied.
There is a climate change at play that is giving us milder winter seasons where ticks are not affected as much as the cold weather. We're also seeing a more humid and warm environment that makes very suitable for them to thrive over, the spring, the summer, and the fall months.
Researchers say the Lone Star tick, common along the East Coast, south of the border, is a species to watch.
At the moment, it still gets carried in on birds or, people that travel back into the country. But even though we are really keeping an eye on that species because its range is moving north in the U.S.
Responding quickly to any tick is important.
Through a tick bite, multiple pathogens can be transmitted.
The faster you remove a tick, and especially if you remove your black-legged tick within 24 hours, the risk of contracting Lyme disease is extremely low. So time is of the essence.
Experts say avoiding long grass, wearing repellent, and tucking pants into socks are all useful strategies to avoid getting bit. However, doing a thorough tick check on yourself and pets remains one of the best defenses. Katherine Ward, Global News.
This is a big Sunday for auto racing with the F1 Grand Prix in Montreal, a NASCAR race, and the Indianapolis 500. Racing superstar Kyle Busch died on Thursday at age 41. His family released a statement yesterday revealing the cause of death was severe pneumonia that progressed into sepsis, resulting in rapid and overwhelming complications. Busch never raced at the Indy 500, but with 63 victories, he had more wins than any other active driver in NASCAR racing. Pickleball may be all the rage, but it's not the only game seeing more forehands clearing the net. Tennis is also enjoying a remarkable surge in popularity. In the last decade, Canada has produced several world-class players. But whatever the inspiration, more and more Canadians are asking, tennis anyone? Tim Sargent has the story.
It's a sport that more and more players are swinging into, tennis.
It's just a great sport. You're working out, you're having fun.
Mara Chacon picked up a racket 3 years ago, and now she's hooked.
You really can see where you're at and how things are going. You're improving all the time. Your shot gets better.
She's not alone. A new survey published by Tennis Canada reveals that the sport is surging in popularity. It reveals that 6 million Canadians played last year, a 20% increase compared to 2023, and 37% of 12 to 17-year-olds spent time on the courts in 2025, compared to only 23% 2 years earlier.
Our league and everything, it's full. So we have a waiting list for every activity. So it's full. So.
Tennis court reservations, public or private, are picking up faster than ever.
It's a good problem because we have to find more space to play.
Canadian stars on the tour have a big part to play in the sport's soaring popularity. Montreal native Felix Auger-Aliassime is at a career-high number 5 in the world, and defending National Bank Open champion Victoria Mboko is ranked 9th.
Now that we have some Canadians playing at the top level, obviously tennis is just a sport that is more followed than before.
Tournament director Valerie Tetreault says Canada's junior development program is building future stars and it's influencing other younger players to start. Affordable access to tennis courts year-round is also a major factor with recreational players.
Yes, you can be part of a private club, but hopefully there's more and more indoor public courts as well where you can play and it's not too expensive.
A sport that more and more are taking a shot at, regardless of age or ability. Tim Sargent, Global News, Montreal.
And that's Global National for this Sunday night. I'm Eric Sorensen. Tonight's Your Canada is the Porcupine Hills and Livingstone Mountains near Pincher Creek, Alberta. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll join us again tomorrow. Have a great night.